Hi, and welcome to this week's episode hosted by Gray and Mark Lawson, John's Health and Fitness, and Mark Elm of Leeds Beckett University, where we take training theory and science onto the gym floor.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Episode 18. It seems like 2 minutes ago since we last recorded the other one, doesn't it, boys?
Time flies by when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Time proper flies by. Anyway, good to see you both. Are you all right?
Yeah, not bad, how are you?
All good. Very good. Yeah, I'm all good. Thanks, mate. All good. Right. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the last episode. Gas Spencer, shout out to you. Here we are again. So we're going to chat today about training whilst injured, aren't we, boys? So recently at the gym, I will say at our place, Mark, we're actually taking a session. In fact, Mark, I'll tell you what, you can explain what happened and what's inspired us to talk about this subject.
You want me to talk you through it step by step?
Yeah, well, you were there. It happened under your,
5 minutes till end of a session, a circuit session, and Jodie. I hope you're listening.
Hi, Jodie.
She has listened before. Jodie, jump, step up. She'd done 2 sets of them before. Third set, 5 minutes towards end, as usual. One more round. Let's go. And her Achilles went. So she's a complete rupture of Achilles tendon, which she were obviously in quite a lot of pain with. We got her on. She's been seen specialists. So she's in a boot. So she's in a cast for the first 10 days, I think it was. And now she's got to wear the boot, and then every few weeks they adjust the distance, don't they? The angle of the foot to allow this. So I think the class of a full rupture, she was saying, is above 90%, and hers were classed as a full rupture
of the Achilles tendon.
Yeah. So I mean, I felt it, and it had just. Everybody who knows, all you're gonna do is put your hand down and feel your Achilles tendon and the stiffness in it and the thickness of it and all the things, and it had just turned to mush. It was awful. So I'm laughing with it. But anyhow, the reason why we're doing this is because she's back training.
How long ago, Mark? When did this happen?
All right,
again?
so we are talking now. It was 3 weeks on Tuesday that she did it. So 3 weeks and 2 days. By the time this goes out, it'll be 4 weeks. So just to let people in on a little trade secret there. So this one's going out a bit after. So yeah, at this moment in time, 3 weeks and 2 days. But last Thursday, she came to box size. We adapted the session for her a little bit. Got her a box to sit on. She did sit down punching, hold it pads. Did the full session.
Did a post on that, didn't you?
Did a post on it on Instagram, and then she did Stu's class on Monday. She did a lot of skiing. Sit down skiing on skier. She was the timer for Stu's session. It sounded pretty brutal, to be fair, but she has also, as well as that, she's been training every day in the gym. She's been training. She's got a little gym at home, and she's got a decent little setup, and she's been doing upper body circuits and little bits of core stuff that she can do, and she's stuck to training. Whereas it could have been quite easy. The reason why we're saying this is because it could have been quite easy for her to just go, "That's me. I'm done."
Yeah, I'm done for
12 weeks. 16 weeks, 6 months, because it goes on then, doesn't it? You know yourself, don't you? The longer you're out of it, the harder it is to get back in. And she jumped straight back in. Obviously, we're trying to do everything we can to help her to make sessions suitable for her and do it. And she's back in. I just think it's just there's so many people can learn from that, because they just get they get a bit of an injury. And what we're saying, well, like when it's a limb especially, you can get back on. You've got 3 others, haven't you? Use them. So that's the main thing. Yeah.
A lot of people use not necessarily injury, maybe not as like an acute injury like Joe suffered, but kind of, let's say, pain, chronic. You know, like bad knees. I've got a bad knee. Oh, I can't exercise. You know, like we hear that quite a lot, don't we? You know, like we've even heard it from family over years, friends, family. Oh, I can't exercise. Oh, my knees. I can't go to the gym. I can't exercise. There is always knocking the hell out of pads, won't she? She was still into
Yeah.
them. Whoever was partnered up with her, she still knocked the hell out of her because she's got a good hit on her.
Graham, we
There
just
is
lost
always
you.
something.
So we just lost him for a second. So like halfway through that
Yeah.
story, we missed the punchline. So if you just you can tell
Yeah.
that again, Troy. So we
We
can-
lost
yeah.
it, Gray, yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At what point?
Well, we lost you at the beginning, and then you came back in with knocking the hell out of the pads.
Right. So I was just saying, apparently, because she's still got a point, she's still training really hard because whoever were partnered up with her were telling me following week they still knocked shit out of her. That's what she was saying. It was like, oh my God, she even sat down, she was still really good at boxing. You can always do something, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's and then we're all a little bit older. We all have niggles, don't we? You know, like Elm, you had your little TFL problem, didn't you, a couple of weeks ago? You know, like it's just part and parcel of getting through it. So you adapt, don't you? You learn to adapt your training sessions. We're not all bulletproof. You can't all just train and be injury free all your life. I think you've got to accept if you are going to keep fit and stay strong and as healthy, you're going to get little niggles here and then. All right, not as serious as Jodie, hopefully, with ruptured Achilles, but there's always little niggles. So it's adapting and continuing to train and look after yourself because it's too important not to.
Yeah, and the thing I probably say there is like we'd like to make sure that everything that they're doing training makes people more injury resistant, but we don't kind of control everybody's life. So if you sit down all day and then come and do something really active at night, your body's going to kind of like get shortened up, your hamstrings get tight. There's only so much of that stuff you can do. So if you train hard and want to get fitter, the harder you push, the more likely you are to get injured. Now you both play rugby, going that you know the risk of playing rugby, you're going to get an injury. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
So that was like, it's just part of that. And most people going to the gym probably don't, if you don't get injured, you probably haven't pushed hard enough. Which sounds ridiculous to say because we don't want anybody to get injured. But like if you're pushing hard, like if you certainly in the younger days, you're pushing really, really hard to get as fit as you want to be. You should be on that borderline between what is healthy and unhealthy. As you get older, like in our last episode, talking about training in 50s, that's not something we'd advocate for people who are kind of 14 above. I can include myself in that, who keeps breaking myself in the gym because I'm thick. I squat too much. But if you're in younger years and you're pushing, you're gonna kind of run the risk of getting injured. But that's half the battle. That's half the reason why people go is to try and get better, get fitter, get stronger, and that's on that borderline of what you can and can't cope with. And at some point, your body goes, no, you can't cope with that anymore, and therefore you get an injury. But it's what you do, what you respond to it. So when I was an S&C coach in rugby, the most complex part of my job, and it happened on every single session I ever did, was every athlete in that room would not be healthy in some way. And some could get through the session and others couldn't, and some of them couldn't do an exercise on a particular day, and some people could never do an exercise ever again because they've got plates here and plates there and short cartilage here and a bit of meniscus is missing there. And so my job was to basically, what can you all do? Knowing the fact that in 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks time, you have to go back and play and just be as fit as you were before you got injured. So that was kind of my real kind of role, really. It wasn't to be S&C coach for the fit and healthy people. It was the S&C coach for the unhealthy people, because that's what rugby spat out. That's what you were. And how many games did you ever play where you felt like it was really fit and healthy?
Probably first game of the season.
If you were lucky.
If you're lucky, yeah, because you've generally picked them up in pre-season. You pretty much just carry knocks. You have aches and pain. It just doesn't happen, does it? Very rarely.
I can imagine most of your pre-season, you didn't feel healthy during the process.
Like, oh no way! Oh no, you felt like you were beat. You felt like you were digging a right hole. You felt like you were just getting more tired. You were just like that. But that's what pre-season is doing, it. I agree definitely. Yeah. So what point did we want to get across then to people about if you are injured and continuing to train?
I think it was. Oh, go on, Mark.
No, go.
No, all I'm going to say that there is always something you can do, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? So if it's a lower limb, you can train your upper body. If it's an upper limb, you can train your lower body, can't you? There's always things like that. But then also the benefits of that, you know, like there's that crossover point, isn't there? You know, for keeping strong everywhere else, which will help maintain a little bit of strength there as well. That's
Joe just scooting past. Even if it's the mental positive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
The
sorry,
side
yeah.
of that, you know, like
Oh, yeah,
for Jodie to be back in the gym and mixing with her mates so she comes to, because it ends up a bit of our place. It's definitely ended up like a social as well. Everybody's mates, aren't they? So she's not at home missing out. She's not feeling isolated away from the group. She's still there, getting stuck in and doing a bit. All right, she's not doing the full session, same as the person next to her, but she's still there having that kind of, having a good workout and having the crack with the mates. So that's massive in it, this side of things, staying positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all had that, mate. I'm sure you guys have had it as well, far worse than I have, but you kind of, when you've got that goal in mind, whether that's to squat double body weight or to get picked at the weekend, wherever it is, and you get that injury, that means you can't do your training.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, I'm an horrible human being to be around when that happens. You're cranky, you're frustrated, you're angry. You can either choose to kind of grumble about it and be the horrible human being, or kind of, this is where having a coach comes into it. When you're kind of doing it to yourself, it's like, I'm not going to bother. But when you've got that, what you're talking about is that external accountability. You're going to be with a coach, or you're going to be with people that you do a group class with. It takes you away from that. You're going, I'm not going here because I can train. I'm going here to be with my friends, and somebody else will find me something to do, and it'd be great.
Yeah.
I think the challenge is really when you're the person on your own, and you got to train, you've got an injury. So for me, like having that TFL, I went to the gym on my own. I couldn't squat because of that, and I was like, oh my god! I conversation with you guys going, I'm just doing upper body and it's boring, and I do, it's the stuff I do when I finish the things I want to do. I was like, it didn't have the pull to get me in there, but I'm gonna have to make myself go. I have to keep making myself go. I was like, well, actually, it's just the excuse to the rehab. So that's the other thing at PAP as well, is that if you go when you're injured, don't hit the injury, because that's not going to help. But if you can have some idea what rehab you need to do to come away from the injury a bit quicker and treat it positively and proactively, you can be injured for less time. That's the other thing as well. Like, what can you do to minimize the impact of the injury and your kind of return to training? And burn some calories. That's not a bad thing either. Like, just go and burn some more calories, because your diet and lifestyle is based around what you were doing. It's very difficult once you've got an injury to then suddenly cut out 400 calories, because that's what you're missing now.
Oh god, yeah, it's really hard.
Like, that's a real cruel blow. Like, you no longer can train and have to like miss a meal now because I'm not burning 400 calories.
Yeah.
Or however many calories you're burning. Right. That is a brutal kind of week, isn't it?
Yeah, that is tough. That is tough. So it's a good way. At least you can keep doing that, can't you? And there's also, you know, like the kind of, if you're keeping the rest of your body, surely, like, let's use Jodie as another example, or if you've broken your arm, if you're keeping the rest of your body strong, your other limbs and your core, that surely the recovery process then is going to be better once you do it. Once Jodie gets her boot off, the more she keeps training as well, she's just going to be way ahead of where she was if she hadn't have trained throughout having this boot on, isn't she?
There's a bit of that. There's a concept, a neurology concept called cross education. And it's not the same as doing training. So I'm not going to say that if you went and did 10 bicep curls on the left hand and then you'd have the same arm, the other arm would grow by just as much. That's not what I'm saying. But if you did one arm training, the brain works in hemispheres, and that signal crosses over, and your other arm would get a little bit of a signal that goes with it. Now, it's enough to stop the decay more than it would do if you left it alone. So not the same as doing the same training, but it will do a little bit of that. So you're not going to come back from square one. And the other thing is, again, this is where maybe if you've got access to a really informed coach, or you've got access to therapy, it's finding out what you can do with that limb, as opposed to just thinking that he's just done for. So Sean's a classic example. Sean's a really funny joist, because they can do so many things. So you might not be able to go into abductions like a lateral raise, but you might be able to push forwards. You might be able to go overhead, but you can go to shoulder high without going through pain. So I think it's all the catastrophe theory. If something goes wrong, boom, like a hand grenade goes off and everything's out of the window. And it's just taking that emotion out and going, okay, well, I can't do that, but I can do this instead. And I don't like this instead, but it's better than not doing anything at all.
Yeah. There's also muscle loss. Jodie's already said about our leg. She can't believe the size difference from a calf on a injured leg to a non-injured leg, obviously, already within like 3 weeks. She says it's ridiculous size difference. But you stop training altogether, you know, like the muscle loss in general that you're going to lose. You're going to lose muscle loss, which then will affect your metabolism. You're not doing as much. So it's like a bit of a double whammy for weight gain anyhow, innit? You know, so like if you're not as active, and because you've stopped, and then you start losing muscle, then your metabolism, you're probably going to be eating more because you sat about. You're not going to all of a sudden just be going on snacking on salad leaves, are you? Just because you're not doing it.
Oh no.
You've got the
They
boredom
they don't make you feel better, do they?
They don't, no.
Let's
so
be
what
honest.
are you going to do? So for like general, if you can still train 3 limbs and keep the muscle there, that's keeping your metabolism higher, isn't it? Keeping your health, like you said, keeping you healthier, your mind healthier, you know, the full job. And it's keeping you positive and focused on other things. So but there is so many people who do get an injury and it's game over. But that's why it was such a good post last week with Jodie, because it was so impressive for her to be straight back in.
Yeah.
Cool. Doing what she did.
Very good. Positive, right? It's just a positive one, isn't it? It's nice, isn't it, when you've got something really positive to show and show people.
Yeah. I mean, so there's
Hopefully.
Jodie, but there's also Ian. I mentioned Ian before, and Ian, he had an injury with his shoulder.
Yeah,
and he was
and he
struggling.
carried on. He
But
won't miss
he
a session, would he?
never missed a session. It changed what he were doing. So we changed what we were doing. We avoided certain movements, like you said, Mark. He couldn't lift overhead, but he could still push out in front. He couldn't lift up to the side, but so we focused on them areas, pushing and pulling horizontally. He were fine with. There were no pain whatsoever, and then his leg sessions could carry on. Obviously, we weren't loading him fully as much, but he was still getting good sessions in, and he's made a full recovery. You wouldn't well, if you saw him now, you wouldn't know that he'd had injuries back from being injured, and is as strong as what he was before, pretty much. Really, he's firing. He's training now.
There's Jake as well, isn't there? Jake broke his wrist and he carried on training.
Jake broke his wrist, carried on training.
I even saw him one day, he was on rowing machine. One arm, just single arm rowing. He just adapted every single thing he did, didn't he?
Was it rowing in a circle?
Yeah.
Yeah. The life goes on Windermere.
There's a good point there about the guy you mentioned there, Matt, who had a niggle, but you adapted. I think that's a really kind of valuable point, because a lot of people, and you will have all seen it from that rugby space where you just got to get through it.
Yeah.
A big game coming up, or play at the weekend, you just got to get through it. You've got to get through it. And I think people have that mentality as well, especially in those group settings where it's a bit bigger than you, where you don't want to miss out, and everybody else is doing the same thing. I was going to get through it. I'll get through it. Be fine. And then the next day it's not as bad, and then but the next time you come back, it's a little bit worse. But I was going to get through it. And I've been guilty of this on my own as well, because I want to do this particular goal. I want to kind of squat more and more weight, and think, I'll push through. It'll be okay. I'll push through. It'll be okay. And then you end up pushing through it until it breaks. There's no reward for it. You don't get a medal for it. You don't get like a badge of honor. Nobody's going to slap you on the back going, well done. You push yourself into oblivion. Brilliant. Well done.
No, they just call you an idiot.
Yeah, because you are. Yeah.
You are, yeah, basically.
So I think there's like that honesty of going, like, it's okay to have a niggle. It's okay to be injured. It's okay. It's like, you're not kind of, the world's not going to fall apart because you've got a bit of a sore hamstring. It's just, you got to look after it and manage it. Like, there's always another session. Like, do something different today so you can do the right thing tomorrow and not miss 3 months. And I think that's the thing for again, coaches, be aware of it. So if you are working with somebody, you can see they're not moving as well as they should be. Be there kind of the kind of that person on the shoulder that says, I don't think this is for you today. If you just give it a rest and do this instead, you'll be better for it tomorrow or next week. And don't keep pushing through, because eventually something will snap and fall off, and the Achilles will be snapped. Yeah. And these have to do another risk assessment and fill in the hazard book and everything. And they don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's probably a massive call, mate. Really, saying as a coach, it's your responsibility, isn't it, to keep everybody who comes and trains with you. If you are the coach, your number one priority is keeping that person fit and healthy and for as long as possible. And if they are coming to you with a niggle and you're going, come on, let's crack on. We need to do this. We need to hit this goal. We need to get here. We need to get there. You're not doing your job, are you?
No, you're right. Yeah, because sometimes I think it can be, like, as a coach, it can be your ego as much as theirs, can't it? Like sometimes some coaches, no, come on, you can do it. You can get that extra little bit out, when really, when you're looking at it, they can't, can they? And you've got a bit taking responsibility there, aren't you? Because you can see what they're doing. They can't see it. They can feel and think. But if he trusts me that I can do it, I'll push through and do it. But like you said, to risk of breaking down, it's not worth it, is it?
No. There is one exception to the rule about kind of training around it, not training the injury, but training around it, which is for me is always the back. So if anybody has like a bad shoulder, bad knee, I'll find an alternative, find a way around it. But if anybody presents with a bad back, it's like an instant 0 now. There's nothing I can give anybody to do that would not involve using their back, and there's just like there's no reward, and there's absolutely massive risks for that. So if anybody's like having a back spasm or bad back, and not like a chronic bad back like Graham mentioned there, where we got permanent kind of discomfort, but like a temporary kind of back pain, let it settle down and come back and fight another day. Don't try and work around it. There's loads of stuff around there about exercise and bad backs and chronic back pain, which is another topic for another day, and we need expertise on that one. But yeah, if you're like a bit of a back spasm, back tweak, there's only kind of negatives are going to come from trying to push through that one. So just leave that. Even if you're not doing like back training, you're trying to train your shoulders, but most people are, it's the back, or they'll get a bad posture. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's like me. When I did my neck, anybody who's listening, if you didn't know, I broke my neck, obviously fractured dislocation. So I had surgery, I've got plates in my neck and stuff. So it affects me certain things now. But there was nothing, when I was recovering from that, there was nothing I could do. I couldn't go, oh yeah, I'll still go to the gym and train this and train that. If you've got a neck or a back injury and you are, there's not at that time, you just have to let the healing process start, don't you?
Yeah.
Before you can start, you mobilize, even if it's mobilizing. Like Mick lad who's pulled his back, he didn't do it at gym, but he's missed a session on it now. He missed a couple of sessions due to his back. But you've just got to let that initial flare up settle down, and then start the mobilizing process. So let it settle down. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, pretty basic that one. But like I say, thanks for Jodie for that kind of pushed us into the inspiration for that one, didn't it? And then your little tweak, and we thought it might just be a bit of good advice for. So if you've listened and you have been carrying a little niggle or injury and you feel like you are pushing through it, maybe pull back and just look at doing something different and see if you can rehab it a little bit different in a different way.
Yeah,
that sound all right?
Excellent.
Good work. Right, good to see you, boys.
You too.
And
right, thanks
see you in a bit.
everybody. See you later.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked the episode, we'd like you to share with us that on YouTube, Instagram and Twitter. You can listen again on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please leave us a rating and a review, and any comments would be more than appreciated. And hopefully you'll tune back next time for our next episode.
The Yorkshire Fitness Podcast.